Good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody doing today? Oh, I should say good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. Some of you join us from elsewhere in the world, but for those who are in Alberta, good afternoon, and this is our lunch hour. And welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dune and Friends. My name is Dune Nguyen. I'm your host today, and every day here on these weekday kind of conversations. And today we have a wonderful guest joining us. Mr. John Hewitt is joining us all the way from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm way over here in Sherwood Park. And so for a long distance conversationalist here, and Mr. John Hewitt. John Hewitt was born in Northern Ontario, where he started his musical career. Now, living in Toronto for 5 years, it was time for a change, and he and his wife Ivy and their little Plipper, that's the dog, decided to move to Edmonton, Alberta. And since then, John has worked on several music videos and joined several bands, including with Tim Isberg and Sweet Vintage Rides, the Frantics, and a brief stint in the Persons of Interest, as well as local jams, and really started his own group as well. So the John Hewitt and the New Americans. So John Hewitt and the New Americans, featuring Benjamin Williams, Jazz Nipp, Nigel Gale, and Jordan Dempster. Now, their debut album, American Hotel, was released in March 28th, 2020, just as old man COVID here began to take over the world. And with that backdrop and that context, please help me, join me in welcoming our special guest today, Mr. John Hewitt. John, welcome to the conversation. How are you doing today, my friend?
Hello. I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Good.
Got my
You got your coffee.
advertising here.
Yeah, you go. Awesome. Hey, what is that? Tell us. This picture of you and a little, what does that say on top?
See if I can get this close enough to the camera. That's little coffee mugs we made when the album was released. The album's called American Hotel, and that's just what we got on the mug. And on the back side, the artwork by a gentleman named Clark Blacklock drew our faces. So wonderful. I figured I would, since I can't go out and sell this door to door, I figured I would plug it during the show.
Wonderful. Well, hey, so our viewers, if you can hear us, please confirm that you're able to hear us loud and clear and that our levels are about the same. But we're going to get rolling here. But first, John, maybe tell us a bit of a backstory beyond the introduction that I provided there. Tell us how did you get to this point? Maybe fill in a few more blanks along the way before we get into other questions. And we have music videos to show. We have artistic videos to show. We have all kinds of stuff. You are a multi-talented man, my friend, and we'll get into all of those things. But give us a backstory.
Well, I'm the Northern Ontario aspect of my life. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, which is kind of when you look at Lake Superior and Georgian Bay, Lake Huron, we're kind of in the middle of that. Just small Northern Ontario town. And I think around the age of 12, 13, I picked up guitar and, fell in love with artists like Bob Dylan and Tom Petty and that, and began writing my own songs. And then eventually, by the time I was in my early 20s, I decided to move to Toronto. Going to plead the fifth on that one. It wasn't my thing, so decided it was time for a change. And my wife and I decided to move out to Edmonton. And that was in January of 2018. Up until that point, I had released several albums, and I just shelved them once I moved out here and wanted to start from scratch. And I can honestly say, up until everything happened this year, things are going really well, and the community out here, music community, has been outstanding. So here we are. And Plipper, her real name is Haley, but we call her Plipper. I don't know why. So I figured I would clarify that.
Yeah, your dog. Now, hey, so some of our viewers are chiming in already. So Laurel G, of course, Laurel is with Mr. Bruce Hall there, who will be joining us tomorrow. And so thank you for, she was commenting on your great collection. She beat me to the punch. I was going to say something, but yeah.
Yeah, I had them moved in just for this interview. I want people to think I have culture and character and class. So Actually, the bottom 3 rows
Mhm.
in behind me here are all records I've collected over, I would say, the past 15 years. A lot of 60s, 70s classic rock, and obviously Beatles, Tom Petty, all that stuff too. And then the
Yeah.
top row running along is all stuff I got at. We went to go pick up a patio set from someone in Sherwood Park,
Hmm.
and they had a stack of records, not very good ones, but I still like collecting this stuff. So I ended up that's about a third of what I kept. So, or sorry, I kept a third of what I picked up. So those are
Hmm.
all like weird organ albums from the 50s and folk albums and stuff that like nobody has anymore. And so I
Yeah.
love records. So thanks for noticing.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, and one of your band buddies, Benjamin, Mr. Benjamin Williams, says, "Yeah, loud and clear." So hopefully he's able to chime in along the way. And again, to our viewers, if you comment along the way, you can ask. You can ask John questions along the way, egg him on and cheer him on, and just comment and interact with us. That would be. It's always more fun when you have a bit of an audience interaction, right? So.
Ben's going to be asking for his payment for the show we've been working on.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
don't give him too much on air time.
All right. So, thank you for that backgrounder. So, I know you and I both do not have a meeting right at 1 o'clock, so we're going to extend it a little bit beyond the 1 o'clock. So that's
Mhm.
cool. But um, what's your impression of Edmonton so far? Is this going to be your home for a little while, or you kind of getting anxious, getting out to Calgary or somewhere? Just kidding.
Uh, well, when we moved out here, we decided. Well, actually, we didn't. I do a lot of things without actually thinking them through, which is a blessing and a curse.
Mhm.
But my wife and I just decided we wanted to move out west. I mean, it seems it's a pretty common thing. I think a lot of people from Ontario or the East Coast decide they're going to go to Alberta or BC. Um, I always keep music in the back of my mind, and since we moved out here, I've actually gotten into a lot of other creative things outside of music. But um, when we moved, we were going to move to Calgary. It just seemed like that's what everybody told us. But I kept in the back of my mind, everybody told me to move to Toronto too, and it just wasn't for me. So we flew out. We spent about 4 hours in each city, and there was just something about Edmonton that seemed like a really big small town. Um, I this is probably going to get criticism, but I like the infrastructure here. I like the roads. I like the way it's mapped out for the
Mhm.
most part. We found the people were friendly. Didn't know much about the music scene at all, but um, we and then we made the move out here, which is now almost 2.5 years ago. I'm in a house that we purchased since then that we didn't plan on buying a house. So I mean we're temporarily permanent,
Mhm.
but I will say out of any major city I've been to, and not putting any other cities down, but this has been the best experience I've had in music the
Mhm.
last 2 years of my life with just the people I've had the opportunity to play with, the opportunities that I've been given as a songwriter and as a performer, the camaraderie in the music community here, whether it's original music or cover music. There's a lot to offer. I find it very diverse. It's a very open scene, and there's not a lot of drama. There's a little bit
Mhm.
here and there, but not like, and it's not as cutthroat as a place like Toronto where you've got
Mhm.
thousands upon thousands of people all trying to do the same thing.
Mhm.
So I'm exceptionally impressed with the music community out here, and if I'm going to live here the rest of my life, I don't know, but I'm certainly quite happy with being here for a little while.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And, early on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, let's get into the first video right off the bat here. You get to pick, though. There's a few videos to
Ooh.
share. One of them is the PBS infomercial. There's the New American. Which one do you want to start first? Any?
That's probably not a bad place to start. And I'll
Mhm.
give a bit of a backstory. If I had my way, I would be doing film, not music. Not to say that I wouldn't do music, but if I could focus on one thing, there's just something about film and directing and writing that in the past couple of years has really interested me. Um,
Mhm.
and so some of these things that we've planned for this show and that we're going to play are kind of goofy and skits and stuff. And other things are music videos and whatnot. And the PBS infomercial one was, I believe it was right around the time that things started shutting down. And I had already been informed that most of the gigs, whether they be weekly jams or some festival gigs I had in the summer, I'd already been told that they were canceling or going to be canceled. And the first thing I thought of was like, well, what do you do when you lose everything that you kind of care about? You know, we didn't lose our house. We didn't, you know, we're fortunate in the situation that we're in, but we lost, you know, all of the art, right? So I just decided, well, I got to start making more art. And that started with this infomercial, which is a bit goofy. It's a bit silly. But it was also because we released the album, and our CD release was canceled a week before the actual release was to take place. So I had shirts, I had merchandise, CDs just sitting in boxes and nothing to do. So nothing to do with them. So I just figured, well, I'll keep pushing it. I mean, just because I can't go out to a bar or to a club and sell it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And from there, we've started doing other videos and branching off on that. So it's kind of this video was kind of the catalyst of building videos and online content.
That's fantastic. I must commend you for that. And before our viewers sort of find out during the conversation here, which will play itself out, trust me, folks, this is a highly creative man, highly motivated man, and collaborative man who works with many others in the community. And you're going to go extremely far in whatever you want to focus on, including the creatives beyond music, my friend. Now, there's a few comments that I just want to show you before we get into the video here. Percy Marshall, Mr. Percy Marshall, who's been on this interview a couple of days ago, he says, nice compliments of Edmund Chuck. Laura came back and said, you know, as a former Torontonian, completely understand why you prefer living here. And yeah, Michael says hi. So let's play this clip, and I will be off camera here, but let's play this clip. Let me know if you can hear this.
I bet that itched for weeks. Didn't see you come in there. Betty White and I here have a bunch of music for you. You can buy it on iTunes and Spotify and Tidal and a bunch of other platforms. Or you can buy the physical CD. You can listen to wonderful songs like this, Shine On, which was released in 2019 by John Hewitt and the Americans. Also on this album, wonderful hit songs like Happy All the Time. Or Tel Aviv 9. I said that specifically because it rhymed, because it makes me feel more comfortable about things. This is a nice song too, If You Need Another. Over to you. Are you suffering from isolation, psychotic visions, tribal tendencies, back fat itch, incurable bed sores, nagging husband, nagging wife, nagging children, grandparents, cannibalism, coronavirus? Dude, that was way too soon. The plague, hysterical pregnancy, inner ear fungus, Facebook fever, headaches, nausea, upset stomach, which is pretty much nausea, so that's redundant, weasel scratches, flesh-eating diphtheria. Goddamn. It's the new album by John Hewitt and the New Americans. Here it is. Goddamn. John Hewitt and the New Americans. John Hewitt. John Hewitt. John Hewitt. Hewitt. The New Americans. The New Americans. The New Americans. Americano. This just in. What's that, Cynthia? This just in. The new album by John Hewitt and the New Americans. What a pile of crap. But you might be asking yourself, but John, how can I afford all this merchandise? You give me money, I give you merchandise. Music will save you. So will tote bags. So will stickers, especially Nigel stickers. Look at Nigel. Be more like Nigel. Nigel buys things. You should buy things. CD and tote bag, because we only ordered 2 tote bags. Also referred to as a toady bag. T-shirts, $20. So basically everything is $20. Then when you buy more things, it costs more money. I didn't take marketing 101, but I know that that's how things work. I'm on a boat! Get it now. And we will deliver. That sounds badass. We do it again. We will deliver. Yeah. That's a wrap.
Oh, that is funny. That's awesome.
I haven't seen that in quite some time. I know my wife's favorite bit is the CD thing for some reason. That's her. You can almost hear her laughing a little bit because she was manning the camera on that one. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and I must say, it's a blessing in my mind when your spouse is able to get into some of the work there and fun that you do and whatnot. Whenever I see couples or father and sons or father and daughter do music together or creative things together, that always is exciting. So congratulations on that journey, my friend.
it's great. I mean, she's a photographer, and she's also getting into video now because of what we've been working on together. But the idea of 2 different art forms, I mean, which music is, I mean, back to the records on the shelf, wasn't just buying the record, it was staring at the album artwork and the liner notes, right?
Mhm.
So the visual aspect of music is still very crucial. I mean, it's part of marketing, but it's also just a part of the package. So
Mhm.
initially, she took the front cover, she took a lot of the pictures, she's done a lot of photography for me. And she's Ivy Jane Photography on Facebook, in case anybody wants to check out her stuff. But working together is, I mean, creatively, it's good too, because when you have a creative argument, it's different than an argument about the Bills or something. So
Mhm.
it's been good. It's been really good.
Cool. So John, how about them Northern Greys?
That's yeah, that's another project I was in long before I left Toronto. There, it was short-lived, unfortunately, but with a good friend of mine named Peter Pankhurst back in Toronto, and Michael Foster there was one of the drummers that we played with, and basically we were, in one sense, we were a cover band. We did some cover bars, stuff in like Collingwood, Barrie, Ontario, and in and around Toronto. But we also, both of us, Peter and myself, wrote. And we do have an EP that is available on iTunes and Spotify and Tidal and all that. And it's just self-titled. It's called The Northern Grace. Actually, I think outside of, I mean, I love my new record, but out of everything that I have worked on and recorded, I think the Northern Grace EP is one of the best sounding. I think it was very quickly done. I think it was done in like 1 8-hour recording session with some overdubs after that, to 5 or 6 song EP. And I don't know, it's good. I like the songs on it. So if anybody wants to check it out, go whatever streaming platform you use, go check out the Northern Grace. And that's just another adventure in my short, long history.
So hey, tell us about this next clip that I'm about to show. Is the John Hewitt and New American Tel Aviv 9 official video. Tell us the
Yes,
whole big story behind it before I even start to play.
the official video. So when we started working on this album, I was going through a really big writing spurt, I guess you'd call it. Since before I moved to Toronto, I used to write quite regularly. Once I moved to Toronto, I think the aspect of my life that was focusing on creativity sort of dwindled. I think that's not a generalization of the city or anything, but I noticed that myself. My writing went down. And once I moved out here, I started getting these these spurts of writing where it'd be 20 songs in a week, just like couldn't stop, and that's kind of what sparked this album, except for a few songs that were on it. And one of them is this song Tel Aviv, that was written in high school. I was in grade 10 or 11, I think grade 11. I wrote the song. I remember looking through a newspaper and the headline said 9 dead in Tel Aviv. And, I won't be the first or last person in grade 11 that gets tired of seeing headlines of, death and destruction and war. And so the title came from that. And I just reversed it to Tel Aviv 9. And the song itself, in one sense, is basically about the end of the world. And the tagline or the refrain is, I don't know what I'm going to do without your love. And I think initially when I wrote that, I was sort of picturing, what would Mother Nature say? What does the earth think about all this? And vice versa. So I brought the songs into the band, and Nigel, that's the bass player, it was his favorite song on the record, I believe. Even now, he just said, it's one of his favorites. I don't know if it's the groove, if it's the song, if it's the structure, but he really liked it, took a liking to it. And Nigel is also, once everything started happening with COVID-19, everybody's lives changed, and he started bringing up ideas about music videos and working on film. And he loves film, and we share a lot of mutual ideas on directors and filming and techniques. And he's been studying it in the past couple of months, so he wanted to put together a music video, and we just started working on ideas and scenes and setup, working with people that we know. Like there's some people from the music community in this video, Quinn McKendry, Angie Klein. My Ivy plays hooker number 1 and Angie plays hooker number 2, as they've been labeled, but there's nothing racy in here. It's all PG. Mm-hmm. But we kind of wanted to show right off the top a little bit of the darker side of any city, if you look at any major city across North America and other continents, I mean, there's the up and the down, the positive and the negative, there's the healthy and the unhealthy. So it's just something that we can't really ignore. I don't think we were trying to make a statement, but I think we just wanted to show a little bit of the darker side. And our good friend Clark Blacklock, who did some of the artwork for the CD, plays, I labeled him, I think it was the Pusher. And he's kind of he represents evil in the video, and Quinn plays a junkie and that. So there's characters in it and whatnot. I'm probably talking far too much, but
we will roll the clip here and let's enjoy it together.
return. The lights were blocking out the sun. The world we left behind was filthy and obscene. An eye for a tooth and a gun for a gun. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. I don't know what I'm gonna do to make it right.
That was great. So we have a question from one of our viewers here, and we all know Mr. Bruce the Hammer, of course, and Bruce is a great drummer in the.
He's a filthy man.
Yeah. So what's your movie? What's your favorite movie, John? Is what Bruce asked here.
So I'm sure he wants me to say something racy or offensive with all the dark side of my humor. I've got a couple favorite movies for different reasons. And the number one, I would have to say, and I'm going to put this out there probably because this is something that Bruce and I relate to, is The Big Lebowski. Is one of my all-time favorite movies. I think it's for a dark comedy. I think it's one of the best constructed films. But other favorite movies on top of that would be also Big Lebowski, because I reference it almost every day of my life. I'm usually using one quote from that movie. I relate to it so much. And when Bruce and I were playing in POI, it was constantly just telling each other these lines from this movie that I'm not going to repeat here because you'll have to censor everything I say. But other favorite movies, though, they're actually one of my favorite movies that is a recent movie that I've written a song about. I haven't worked on yet. Is The Other Side of the Wind, which is Orson Welles. It was his final film that was worked on in the mid '70s, and he worked on it for 15 years, and he ended up dying. It wasn't done, and it's kind of it's weird. It's like the first fake, or I guess you call mockumentary or documentary film about the absurdities in the film industry, and it's on Netflix now. It's called The Other Side of the Wind, and I love what he did with it. It's a hard movie to watch. It's not the story's kind of weird. It's like a low budget film, or appears to be, but I absolutely love that movie, and I love the filming in it. I love the technique, the colors. I love everything about it. But just for Bruce, The Big Lebowski, and anything else that involves vulgar humor.
Yeah. Benjamin, your other band buddy says, vouch for Lebowski.
That and Goodfellas. I think Goodfellas is one of the greatest mob films. I'm not a huge mob film guy, I guess, but that movie, front to back, I think is just a masterpiece.
Yeah, yeah. So in this next segment, I would like you to, we're going to show some photos, a few photos, not many, but a few photos, and maybe tell us the story behind that photo, or what that photo means to you, or what it, ring out in you. So we're just going to have, so take us down a trip down memory lane here, John, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger here. So give me a second. So there's the first photo. You look a little bit different than your other one with glasses and hat, my friend.
Yes, this was me trying to look cool in small town Alberta. We did. This was part of the photo shoot, I believe. Ivy will correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of these photos are probably hers, but I believe this was in Fort Macleod, and that's actually where we did the album cover for American Hotel. This is a hotel in Fort Macleod, so we did a couple of other photo shoots that day. I'm positive that's the same day. And I play with Tim Isberg, who lives in Sherwood Park. He's from Fort Macleod. We did a little tour down Calgary, High River, and Fort Macleod. And that's where I seen this building, this structure, and I just fell in love with it. I like a lot of the infrastructure in Fort Macleod. A lot of it's old and has been kept up and looks like 1950s America, kind of. And so, anyways, we went behind,
kind of frozen in time, if you will.
Yeah, a lot of it is, and one thing I will say about being from Ontario, a lot of the towns haven't been kept the same, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think Fort Macleod is a very interesting looking town. The Princess, I think it's the Princess Theater or the Empress Theater, the downtown strip, and the post office, and the signs, the neon signs are still. So it's really cool. I fell in love with it, and I think this is just behind the Empress Theater. I think we're just in the back alley there with my guitar, and she's taking photos of me.
Cool.
This one here is, I don't know what that effect is called with the blue tint. I still have those, but I popped one of the lenses out, so I don't have it anymore. But
Sepia or Sephora? I'm not.
There's sepia or sepia for the, but keeping the blue in there, I don't know what that's called. Again,
Yeah.
I'll have to consult my wife on that one.
There you
But
go.
this is in our basement. We did a video shoot actually with Jazz on keys and Benjamin on guitar and vocals. And I never ended up putting those videos together, which is unfortunate. But this was just from those sessions. This was, I think, last November.
Yeah, her watermark is down here, so we can see it there. So Ivy Jane Photography.
Ivy Jane Photography, and she's on Facebook for Ivy Jane Photography as well.
I will pull that up later on so you can earn some brownie points there, my friend. Anything to serve a fellow musician. I'll do that. Oh, this is the other effect, hey?
Oh yeah, so that's the same photo but with a different edit there.
Cool.
And I think I've used that for different. Also, I like the cedar shakes we put up on the wall in the background. So, and if you look closely, you can see our garden gnomes off to the left. I always keep some bobblehead garden gnomes around. I don't know why, just like it.
Almost look Christmassy.
But we are big Christmas fans over here. My family back home, they went all out at Christmas time. So we've done some pretty big Christmas parties here, and now you're invited.
Yeah, well, this looks great because this looks like it could be some creative place somewhere, but this is your home, hey?
Yeah, and the house was, we haven't done a whole lot to it, but we've done some, I would say, minor renovations that make it a little bit more, woodsy. We like just, natural pine stained, and you can kind of see here that hole in the wall wasn't there in the kitchen, and we've done little things like that just to make it a little more, like a log cabin. I find that easier for working and writing, and it's nice if you're watching a movie and you look over and it's just things are cozy, right? We're not really IKEA people. So.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, cool. Now Jim Dick asked me, is he going to talk about yada yada? And looks like we are. So tell us about yada yada.
Well, I was looking through my photos, looking for stuff to post, and I seen that. I'm like, you know what? He asked about it. I will say this. This was actually the first gig that I had or first bar gig, but I would say first official gig that I had since moving to Edmonton. And Jim was one of the first guys that, along with, I should mention Percy as well. Percy was one of the first people in town that, heard me playing and offered me some work. And so I'd like to thank both of them just for, being the first guys to sort of put some faith into me. And with Jim, it was at Newcastle, and Jordan I had met, I think, at a jam. And Jordan actually also got me some work in music as well as a result of this. But it was a last minute thing. I think there was somebody canceled, and Jim got the offer. So he said, let's put something together. And I wanted Jordan. Jim wanted me. We put it together, and we called it Yada Yada because we're all Seinfeld fans. And that's where it came from. And we haven't played together since then as a trio. It's been a long time, but we just sent out songs and said, hey, here's some blues songs, some cover stuff, and let's have a good time. And it was a lot of fun.
Mm.
Jim is also in our weekly show. He's been contributing. So
Yes, I was listening to your weekly show this morning, and well, I actually had it playing while I was taking a shower, to be honest. And I started listening, and I heard Jim's voice come on as I recognized that voice. I don't know what he looks like right now on the screen, but
you know what, my wife and I noticed, if you listen to Jim's voice, just his voice, and I don't know if we've talked to him about this, he sounds almost identical to John Wayne. He's got this tone in his voice, because I had put on a John Wayne movie, or it was on TV or something, and Ivy came around the corner. She's like, "Is Jim? That sounds like Jim." So next time you're watching John Wayne, think Jim Dick.
There you go.
And this picture here, this is I call it my new baby, but I've had it for about a year now. It's a DeArmond guitar, and DeArmond, I believe, my friend Mark Lattiser would know more about this than me, but the guitar was made by Guild, but DeArmond was one of the first, or the first, guitar companies to make electric pickups, or make pickups for an electric guitar. So DeArmond, I guess, was bought by Guild in the 90s, and Guild had Starfire or something like that, which is basically this guitar, but the Guild version. And so I traded a guitar that I wasn't playing very often for this guitar, and I love it. It's my John Hewitt, the New Americans guitar. That's my signature guitar now.
So this is just as good or better without the gilding.
Well, yeah, you know what? When you get some of these guitar companies, when they make like their knockoff or their baby company, I mean, some of them are just as good. It's a matter of, whether or not it's assembled in the U.S. So, I mean, a lot of times you're still getting the same parts, the same quality. I mean, Fender basses, they're made in Mexico. They're half the price, and they're just as good. You're hard to find a Mexican bass that isn't a really good bass, right?
Yeah, you bet. They've come a long way. Great photo of your, I guess, current band, hey?
Yeah, also Ivy there. So I'll just keep pushing all her photos. But this was our first photo shoot we did, and I can't remember if it was specifically for anything, or if we just wanted band photos. And we waited a little bit too long, so it got a bit dark. So, but I kind of like the tone. It's like a 1970s kind of grain to it. And from left to right, we got Jordan Dempster, Nigel Gale. So Jordan's drums, Nigel bass, myself in the middle, and there's that guitar we were just talking about, and Jazz Nipp, keyboards, and Benjamin Williams, Mr. Benjamin Williams on guitar and vocals, and sometimes mandolin. And this was kind of our first photo shoot, and we went to just a school nearby our neighborhood and just did some shots, and there you have it. This was the photo, I believe this was the photo, or one of the photos that was used for the album artwork. Give me 2 seconds, I have it right here. Where our friend Clark drew our faces over top. I don't know if you can see that there, but this is the everything's backwards. The album artwork.
It's okay for me. It's not backward. It's proper here. We can see the New Americans, it says.
The New Americans. We got, so Clark basically drew our faces on top of that same picture, and we just, yeah, so that's what we used.
Very cool. Love the photo. Love the photo. So American Hotel. Was this real, or you had to make this up through Photoshop?
This was, so Ivy took the picture, and so that's the album cover, and this is the picture of the American Hotel. When I did this little tour with Tim, and I seen the hotel, I knew, and I know it's kind of an awkward time because of everything that's going on in the United States right now, but I love American music and Americana music and the history, and so when I seen this hotel, I just thought that's perfect. Even though a lot of our music is more inspired by, I guess, the British invasion, but we took several pictures. Both her and I went with cameras to. We made a separate trip to go back down and get photos of this building, and this was the one that we kept because I'd already had in my head. I wanted it almost like an odd angle, which it's not quite what I was thinking, but in Alfred Hitchcock used to use this a lot, called the Dutch angle, which is kind of where anything that's in the room, that square bookshelf, walls and corners, and then you tilt your camera this way, and it creates the illusion of unrest or stress in the room. So if there's a dramatic scene, simply doing something like that, right, can create some. It's an old technique. I mean, we look past it now, but in the 50s and 60s, that was used quite a bit. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, I ramble on. We just added some filters to that picture and just changed a bit of the coloring, and there it is.
Perfect.
This I took because this is Ivy's favorite photo right now. This is a little not too personal story, but we had some friends over on the weekend, and we're just sitting around the fire doing our social distancing, and out of nowhere, and this was really cool. I just thought this was something fun to talk about. This little bird here, it's a baby blue jay, came half flying right into Ivy's face. And we had our dogs outside, all of our dogs, we 3 of them. We have 2, but our friends brought theirs. And a magpie was coming after it. And the magpie was trying to attack it for whatever reason. These animals do what they do, but the bird got away. I think mostly because we had the dogs around. But so the bird was not able to fly. It was too young. Now it ended up walking through our chain link fence into our neighbor's yard, and Ivy got her camera and wanted to get some photos. We went into the backyard, and speaking of Alfred Hitchcock earlier, it was like almost like The Birds, the movie, not quite like thousands of birds coming, but it was really interesting to watch. This little baby bird is walking through the yard, and there's a magpie up in the power lines, and much like security guards or a military what do you call that? I'm losing my words here, but sort of like a mission. These blue jays, the parents come down, and they're moving as the magpie moves. They're not going down on ground where the baby is. They're watching this magpie that's up there, and every time it moves, one goes down here, and then we watch them sort of maneuvering around, protecting this baby from a distance. And this was just one of the photos she got. I just thought it was, really interesting to watch. Another creature, like any of us would do the same thing if we had a child and we felt that it was threatened. I mean, we go into protection mode, and whether it's a pet or a family member or something we care about, your house, we all put up a guard to try and protect what we have to some degree. And watching this was very cool. Watching these birds just sort of like clockwork, just moving around and step by step getting down there and flying back into the tree and then coming back like they were communicating. It was a very cool thing. So anyways,
we're sometimes reminded of how wonderful and powerful and smart nature and all of the different elements, however, different than where we are, right? I mean, the birds, well,
absolutely.
They can do all kinds of things we can't do. That's for sure.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, with their capabilities with flying, I mean, they're able to really get in and out a lot faster than humans, dogs, other animals, whatever. But it was really cool. Just watching the whole process and thinking, like, a lot of times they say, we're what separates us from the animals. Well, I watched that and I thought, well, is there a lot that separates us from that? I mean, their instinct is different, but I mean, we would do the same thing.
Yeah.
We would treat it the same way if we felt there was a threat. So I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. It's an interesting way to spend our Saturday evening.
Yes. Hey, Laurel, our friend says again here, please let us know how we can purchase a copy of The American Hotel.
Well, as of right now, based on the phasing and everything of things opening up, we don't have any copies in stores, and I'm going to look into when I can go about doing that. So hopefully in a week or two. If not, we are doing deliveries if it's local, and we've been doing them basically with Lysol. We wipe it down. If you want your copy, you can get it. So there is that option. CDs are $20 a copy, and we'll deliver. Same with shirts and whatnot. Otherwise, I mean, you can access the album. You can download it. You can stream it. You can purchase it online as well if you want to go to CD Baby or iTunes, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube. Any streaming platform has it. But if you want to purchase a hard copy, as of right now, because of everything going on, directly through me, so you can message me on Facebook, or you can send me an email at johnhewittmusic@gmail.com, and we can work something out.
Let me just put that up there for our viewers here. So spell it out for me again, John.
JohnHewittMusic@gmail.com.
Okay, if I got that right, could you double check what you see on screen there?
Will this be coming? Oh, right here, John Hewitt Music. Yep, that's it.
Perfect. Wonderful. In terms of the next photo, let's see here. There's this photo here. Tell us about this one.
So this was, I did this just before you rang me for this interview. And so we had troubles uploading this song for some reason. So this is, and I wish I had something else to actually play for this to do a little ad. So this will kind of be our makeshift ad for this song. It was supposed to be released well over a month ago, and I had issues getting not the song uploaded, but with a photo. You have to have a photo of the right size and everything to put up for iTunes and all that. The song itself is called Brand New Stetson, and actually the reason I picked today for this interview is because it's my parents' anniversary, and this song, yes, I'm not going to go out and say how many years, but I'm almost positive they're at 35 or 36. I believe, well, they've been together since maybe longer than that. Oh, wow. I'll be making a phone call right after this to clarify. I should have done it the other way around. But they've been together for a very long time. They met when Mom was still in high school. So the reason, there's a line in this song that says, I remember when I first met you, I was playing drums on your head. That's a night I'll never forget, because their meeting story was my mom was in the passenger seat of this car with her friend, and it was raining out, and they picked up these two guys that her friend knew, and I guess there were a pair of drumsticks in the back seat, and my dad started playing the drums on the back of her head, and I guess she found them to be quite annoying, which is usually what happens when we end up falling in love. There's that initial, like, there's something weird here, and then obviously 40 years later they're still together. So that's why I wanted to have the song released today, but I didn't get to it, so I finished it today. I'd like to just bring up a little bit about the song itself, because we started working on it long before things started shutting down, but we finished it while from virtually, kind of like what we're doing here. We had to finish mixing and mastering from a distance, and technology nowadays is just unbelievable. We mixed it and mastered with Brendan Lyons, who's another local musician and an exceptional talent, and one of the best drummers you're going to find anywhere. And but he also does some mixing and some engineering. And so we did this virtually with us all in basically a chat room, going section by section, working on the song. And in this song, it was written. I'm talking a lot. I like this song. There's a lot going on here, so I'll try and wrap this up here. The song was inspired by God Only Knows by the Beach Boys, and as anybody who knows Benjamin Williams, and when I've seen that you'll have him on your show, I think in July, and he's doing Sunday songs, I think of just the Beach Boys. So, oh yeah, Benjamin just commented, wait, the lyrics drums in your head, I thought it was hip. He sang the harmony vocal behind me and he said hip, but it sounded enough like head that I just kept it. He's also just learning that right now. So anyways, it was written around the time that I met Benjamin, and he's such a big Beach Boys fan, and rightly so. I mean, Brian Wilson was a genius. Their harmonies are brilliant. So Benjamin really, in our first attempt, I would say, because he does harmonies and plays on the album, but this was our first sort of like, hey, Ben, you take this vocal part, and he arranged it himself. He did all the backing vocals and harmonies, and it's amazing. It's one of the coolest things I've had the opportunity to work on, and it wouldn't be what it is without I would say everybody's input, because the whole band's playing on it, and the bass line is great, the keys are great, like the drumming is simple, and we arranged it all kind of as a band, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. So it's uploaded. I don't know when it's going to be available, hopefully in the next couple days. So keep an eye out for Brand New Stetson by John Hewitt and the New Americans.
Brand new. Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
Audrey Ochoa is playing trombone all throughout. She does some trombone lines and the solo, which I had written as a guitar part and gave to her. And I don't write music. I don't write it down in notation. So I said, I've got this guitar part that in my head, it's got to be a trombone. So can you do it? So she just wrote it out and transposed it and came in, and we did one session with trombone. So Audrey Ochoa is a guest musician on this track as well. So there's trombone, there's harmonies, there's all. I'm exceptionally proud of this song and how it's turned out, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it, because I think it's a really cool thing that a bunch of musicians got together and worked on this. So I'm really proud of it.
Did I get the spelling correctly there when I displayed on the screen there, my friend?
Yeah, Brand New Stetson.
Wonderful. So there's some more comments from your buddies out there. Laura, first of all, Laurel says perfect with respect to the CD and all of that. And of course, your bandmate and fellow actor, Jim Dick, says John is frantically good, he says. And well, you've seen this.
Yeah, he's putting there's another group that we're in that Jim also plays in called the Frantics, which is more of a cover band that does. I don't know how to explain it. It's not a genre that has ever really been in my repertoire. So, which is cool. I like doing stuff like that. That's sort of out of your element. I play bass in the group. Jim on guitar, and Gary Keeler on guitar, Emmett Van Etten on drums, and then Quinn McKendry sings most of the lead stuff. And it's like I don't know, alt punk, pop punk kind of thing, some old stuff, some new stuff. So it's a high energy. I don't know how to explain it. Ask Jim. Jim will tell you what kind of music we play.
No, it's awesome. We Jim had shared some of that with our viewers earlier on when he was on the show here, and also Quinn had shared some other clips as well. So by now, some of our viewers have seen that. Let me just get on to the next piece here. And before we do that, though, I did say I would try my best to have you earn maybe even a few more brownie points or bonus points. So here they are. Here's my attempt at that. I hope I got the right site, though.
Oh, yep, that's it right there. That is, it's going to come back to me. What's Hosier? That is Hosier, the cover photo there. Ivy was working as one of the photographers for Folk Fest this past year, and obviously it's not on this year. I think she would have been in again, but that's another thing. I will say that for both of us, I think for photography for her, music for me, I think it just feels like we found the right spot where opportunity is there. And she's been able to do a lot more with photography, whether it's some studio stuff, outdoor stuff, and she's got all kinds of stuff on here from bands and venues and individual photo shoots and stuff from Iceland that she took and different places, Ireland and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, fantastic. Thank you for mentioning that. Let's continue. We do have a bit of time, and I would love to maybe have you share some of these short trailer clips with our viewers. And the first sort of shorter clip that I'm going to bring up is something called. Let me just see here. Is the American Idol John Hewitt trailer. So this one here.
So yeah, this one was, if it's the one I'm thinking of, we used the faces that Clark drew, and I just did some weird, some psychedelic kind of stuff. And I should mention, because I haven't mentioned it yet, that this album was mixed and mastered by Miles Wilkinson, who is also a sort of an Edmonton legend. He's old enough to be a legend, and he's got the credentials to back it up. He's a great guy. He's got a great ear. He was wonderful to work with, and he's a big fan of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on a sec. Just got the dogs were making some noise. All good.
Who lets the dog out?
Well, they like it outside. It's not too hot, not too cool, so they get to hang out there.
Yeah.
So Miles was a big help. We mixed at CJSR for this album, and this was just one of the little trailers I put together leading up to the release, which, as I said earlier, unfortunately never actually happened. So we're hoping that we can reuse some of this stuff in the future and put on a proper release once things open up again.
Cool.
Yeah, it was just the music there. It's not from anything on the album, actually. It's just it was an instrumental that I had written as a demo. It was called August Was Her Name. Actually, that happens a lot. Ivy will come downstairs and just say, "Oh, I really like this name or this word or something," and then I'll just write a song. And so that's another aspect of our relationship that kind of works out. She'll, if it's a person's name or a place she's been or whatever, and we'll do some research together, even on like the Old West or whatever, and write a song about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what? This is a great time to tell us about the other thing that you do, the other creative thing, movie making, and you could be the next James Cameron or the next what's the other one? John Hughes.
Yeah. Well, I think like before we get into that, for directors, I love Martin Scorsese, and the other, I do love Tarantino and the Coen brothers. Those, I think, are my three favorite directors, writers, directors, especially the Coen brothers and Tarantino, because they write everything, they produce everything, they direct everything. So it's I like that concept of not just taking someone's book or someone's story, but actually writing it from scratch, and that's why I think Big Lebowski and some of those films are at the top of my list for favorite films. But those are all unfunny. What we're about to talk about is how wacky our musician friends are here in Edmonton, or
yes.
I like to call it Eddie Town. I think Percy said Edmund Chuck.
Edmund Chuck, yeah.
Edmund Chuck. I call it Eddie Town.
Anytime. Hey, Mr. Jim Dick chimed in again, and he said, John came to Edmonton and yada yada. He's a fixture in the local music scene. So there you go. He tries to use yada yada in a sentence right just off the bat there, John.
Every time it always comes back to yada yada. He's got a soft spot in his heart for that original
Does
trio.
he? Yeah, yeah. Let me just go ahead and take this out here. And yeah, so tell us about the clip that we're about to show here. And it's actually the entire, is it an hour long? We're not going to show an hour, but it's an hour long as a show, or is it how long?
So,
45?
well, we basically, just to give a backstory on the concept, when everything started shutting down, everybody wanted to do these Facebook live streams and stuff. And at first I was hesitant because I'm thinking, quality, sound quality, and I'm not as technologically savvy as I'd like to be. So putting together something that looks good and sounds good for me is I have to record it and plan it, right? So, and that's how I wanted to do it. So I waited a couple weeks, and the first one was mostly a live concert. I just changed the filters on some of the things, and there were no skits. There was nothing like that. The second one, we added some skits. So we've done 8 shows, 8 almost hour-long shows in the past 2 months that we've been releasing every Sunday on Facebook. And by the third one, we started involving, obviously, more musician friends that were interested in doing sort of skit comedy. I've incorporated some other musicians and singer-songwriters. Benjamin's been on doing songs with me because he's a part of the band, but we do some duo stuff. And but the skits started to kind of take over. I mean, I think a lot of us just I'm a big fan of Corner Gas. Quinn hates me for that. Quinn is not a fan of Corner Gas, but he loves SCTV. So we all kind of understand this skit humor, this sort of kind of wacky Canadian humor that is never really. It can be wacky or weird or zany, but it's never over the top. It doesn't get political. It doesn't, it's just goofy. So, and a lot of us are big fans of Monty Python.
Tell me the title or the handle for this so I can put it up the screen for our viewers. What do you call this?
The show has been called Sunday Evening Concert, but I sort of just started calling us the Sleeping Dogs because we have an instrumental on an EP that Benjamin and I are working on called Hollywood Reality, and one of the instrumentals is called The Sleeping Dogs. So I would say the Sleeping Dogs Sunday Evening Concert. Or just the Sleeping Dogs, that works. That's our makeshift title for the comedy troupe. And so for the final show, what you're going to see here is kind of the intro. We wanted to do, I wanted, number one, I wanted to try and get people's minds off of things because initially when things shut down, musicians are out of work, actors are out of work, everybody's out of work, and we're, not knowing where our next paycheck is coming from. Is it going to be from a part-time job, or are we applying for CERB? Are we all these things that nobody knew what was going on? All of a sudden, you might be on unemployment now, and you don't know how long. So, I wanted to put something together that, number one, trash talks the album and myself, because that's funny to me. And Quinn loved that idea. Quinn was all over like John's the guy that everybody hates, but everybody still has to answer to him. So. But we did a new intro every week. We added different people every week, local musicians, anybody that we could. We did our social distancing thing. We tried as much as we could to keep people distant and work on skits that are like we're doing, like maybe a phone interview or on the telephone. And we wanted to be creative, but mostly I just wanted to have sort of a venue for my musician friends and friends who have the same knack for comedy or something, that want something to do that, we can sit around and laugh in the middle of not knowing, what's going to happen next. So the first part is that we've got up here is not quite as funny. This is the intro here, Nigel's idea of us kind of doing the clown car thing where we're all coming out of the car. And then if we play the whole intro, depending on how much of it you do play, it goes into the section of Ivy's input, which was this fisheye lens. And we had the fisheye lens and we're going like this over top. And then we just mix it together, sort of like sort of a 70s kind of thing. So I'll stop talking and we'll just watch the intro here.
I will roll here, and then you tell me the time I can jump to, and I'll do that. I'll follow your lead, my friend. And so let me know if you can hear the sound. In fact, what I need to do is, sorry, I've been muting Facebook just because I was not wanting the delay sound to come back. So now I'm going to unmute it now because I stopped the play on the other one. So here we go. You hear the sound?
Yep.
Won't you bring it on down, let it all out. Pass the hat and say your lines. Won't you bring it on down, let it all out. Foolish grin to hide behind. Won't you bring it on down, let it all out. And I would take you anywhere. The people stare, and I would catch you if you were falling. Relax, it's only foreplay, darling. I don't wanna let you down. You never will, girl. Not in this world. The clown, you never will, girl, not in this world. And I've been searching for the sound. You never will, girl, not in this world. And I would take you anywhere, anywhere the people stare. I would catch you if you were falling. Relax, it's only foreplay, darling. I would take you anywhere, anywhere the people stare. I would catch you if you were falling.
Cool.
So it's a bit of a long intro, but we basically recapped with this episode and just did a skit show. We took all the skits that we worked on and put it together as basically one of my favorite movies, and now for something completely different, the Monty Python compilation. And so that's what we put together for this. It's about an hour and 25 minutes, and it's all been written, recorded, filmed, edited in the past over the past 2 months of all of us just getting together. Something that we had never worked on before, never talked about doing a skit show, and it just sort of all kind of fell into place. So
Yeah. For some reason, it stopped prematurely there, and I wonder, did the intro finish completely? I would hate to miss some part of the intro, some names that are yet to come.
I think that was the end of the names. It just comes up saying again, Sleeping Dogs production, Sunday evening concert, and goes into the show. So
yeah, somehow it kind of stopped prematurely. So tell me, where should we go next for the segment that we want to maybe share a little bit with our viewers here?
Let's see if I got these. I wrote down some times. Now there's a lot of stuff going on in this. This is if you do watch it front to back, you'll kind of wonder why we have not been institutionalized yet, because it's bizarre. It's a very wacky kind of humor. We involve a lot of Clark plays a lot. He plays Da Vinci and Sigmund Freud, and some people from the 1800s, and we got the rest of us just. There's a bit of coarse language, not very much. So I've picked some parts that are clean, but just so everybody knows, there are a couple F-bombs here and there throughout the show. But the whole idea, I think, was just what can we do that's funny, but like I said before, that doesn't get political, doesn't take a side on anything. It's just we don't want to be. I know Saturday Night Live and a lot of those shows end up somehow taking a political stance at some point. We just want it to be weird. We just want it to be kooky and involve our friends and just see how far we can go. I don't know. There might be swearing in this one. I don't know.
Do you have a time slot for me that I can pull into?
Yeah, we go forward. I think it was 35:15. That's one of the first.
I will make it happen. 35:15.
It's around there somewhere.
Yeah. 35. There you go. 35. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yep, that's it right there.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Oh, hello. I'm Dr. Mayo of the famed medical clinic. Are you suffering from depression,
Yes.
isolation fever,
Yes.
strange hunger for bats,
Yes.
constipation?
Wow. It's like you can see right through my soul.
Well, have I got something special for you. A new antidepressant called Zulift. Zulift is the only drug on the market not approved by the FDA. So that means you can get it anywhere, even from one of your friends. So I recommend Zulift, and 3 out of 10 doctors also recommend Zulift.
I can barely contain my excitement.
So if you're feeling sad, worried, and depressed, take Zulift. It's the only thing that could maybe help you.
Yay! Zulip! Yay!
And that's it. That's our.
Ooh, this is joy.
Tell
That's
me,
one of our weird skits. Yep.
is there another one that you want me to fast forward to?
Yeah, we've got. Let me just double check the times here. I just want to make sure I got these right. I think 39 minutes. There's another one there around 39. This was what I've been doing. Like since this all happened, I started working full time and Monday to Friday. And I work for a delivery company, so I've been driving around a lot. And in my head, while I'm driving, I just started coming up with kooky characters and ideas. So throughout the week, I'd work on a lot of ideas, and then everybody else would come in with their ideas, and we'd start filming different things. So if you go forward a little bit there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
Maybe-
let me just do this.
You're-
Give me a second.
I think you're.
Yeah, give me a second.
Yep. But there was a show. I don't know if you remember it, The Fabulous Life of.
Yeah. How far do you want me to go?
Back a bit more. Let's see if we can. Yep, that's right there. Is perfect. I don't know if you want to watch the whole thing, because this one's got some kooky stuff in it too.
Up to you.
This one, it's about 5 minutes. So
Up to you. Completely up to you.
okay, let's see how it goes. See if the audience likes it.
Start right here.
Yep.
Fabulous life of John Hewitt. When John was born, he was very young, and as time went on, he just got older.
Oh, yes, in the bedwetting. You know, he wet the bed till he was about 30, and then I watched him leave. You can see it now, crawling out the window. Ah. One sock on, one sock off.
John aged much faster than the other boys and girls. By the time he was 8, he was already a teenager. I hate you all. By the time John was 16, he was a full-grown man.
This is kind of gross.
And by the time John was 30, he was ready to leave his parents' basement, to explore the world, and to start his notorious music career. Break free, John. Fly towards the heavens. It would not be long before John would start his first recording sessions.
Yeah. John, please don't touch the microphone. Oh, sorry. Are we rolling? Okay. Actually, you know what? I think I need some. I think I might need to warm up my vocals a bit. Mommy, mommy, mama, Okay, I think I'm good. John, please do not touch the microphone. Oh, yeah, right. Sorry. Okay, I think that's a wrap, guys. Good job today. All right, John, that was great. Great. We're just going to throw some auto-tune on that and see what she sounds like. Your first number one.
John's initial recording sessions yielded 79 number one hits within a 1-year period. When asked to reflect upon the early success of his career, John had this to say: "Who are you? What are you doing here? And do I have to get security?" John's early success would soon go to his head. It would not be long before the John Hewitt we all know and love would break. John would spend the next 30 years of his life in rehab.
Low budget. Don't know what I'm going to do. Off.
Although most of John's life was spent as a recluse with an unimaginative output of really bad music, his early days were some of the best in music history. When asked to reflect upon this, John had this to say:
It's a winky wonky and a dinky do, right?
"Yes, John, a winky wonky and a dinky do, indeed."
Oh, there we go.
Well, Mr. Freud. Enter. Take a seat on the couch.
This is, yeah, and then
Now,
Sigmund Freud.
tell me about your
There's
dreams. Well,
Sigmund
I see
Freud's
you have
brand
interest in
cocaine.
dream.
There's Da Vinci painting the Mona Lisa. There's actually one of the skits that we did. I don't know why I thought this was so funny, but we ended up doing it. Was Leonardo da Vinci ends up starting a B-movie career where he redoes all of Dustin Hoffman's films. So it's Leonardo da Vinci playing, in Midnight Cowboy and Rain Man and stuff. So all kinds of weird stuff. And I don't know if we have time for one more just to do one of the recaps that are in there.
Yeah, tell me what time slot to go to.
So that one, somebody actually mentioned the dyslexic deaf chef. That was another thing we had. Do we want to look for that?
Up to you.
For Janet?
Hmm.
I'm not sure what time that's at. I think that might be a little... maybe if you just start clicking, I can tell you where it is. Is that too...
further forward?
I'm trying to remember. It might be. Go forward a bit more.
Give me a second to just make it bigger so you can see it better here.
Okay.
Yeah. Not yet?
No, not yet. It might be. So it'd be past, I think it might be earlier, actually. Yep, there it is. So let's go back a little bit there. This will be for Janet if she's still watching. Yep, right there should be.
Yeah?
Yep, that should be good. We'll just show a little bit of this for Janet.
Extraterrestrials.
That was trying to kill us.
You're not wrong, Bio Bill, but you're not right either. You see, if another country wants to kill you, it'll do it in much more subtle ways. Like in your breakfast cereal, in your shampoo, and in your dog's doo. So the next time you get a whiff of a poisonous gas, think of this stupid man and his stupid bow tie.
So it's this
Tim
one coming up
Hortons has
Oh, no.
announced it will
let's
be
move.
modernizing all of its franchises countrywide. It will be removing coffee and coffee-related products from its menus. However, it will still identify as a coffee shop.
Here we go.
It's Jeff Schmeck, the dyslexic deaf chef.
bum.
Oh.
That's good. That's for Janet.
All right. Well, John, we're rounding the corner here on a time that we sort of allowed for this. You and I wanted to maybe, do you have I know I have a couple of kind of very short trailer clips. Do you want to play those quickly and tell us about this?
Yeah, if we do, there should be Listen to the Beatles and Shine On, I think, in there. Which,
listen
those
to the
are...
You bet. I got the Listen to the Beatle here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here, and I'm going to go ahead and take myself out.
So this one was, this is just a little ad. These next two clips are ads that I put together for songs that are on the album. American Hotel, get it now. And Listen to the Beatles, obviously fairly self-explanatory, a song about listening to the Beatles and Beatles music. And so I incorporated their albums and my albums of theirs. This will get you a little bit closer to my record collection here. So this is one of them.
I'll see you again. Wait for me tonight and I'll let you in. Oh my, I'm gonna love you till we both grow. Hey my babe, I do it for you. I'll listen to the Beatles every time I'm blue. Oh my, I'm gonna love you till we both grow old.
Cool. Now here's the next one.
This one was a video that I had actually pieced together for another song of mine called Lady Godiva, and I never ended up doing anything with the video, so I sped it up really fast, and I put a clip of Shine On over top. So this was the first single off the album. It's called Shine On, and yeah, this is a little teaser for it.
I don't know who's wrong or right. Who could ever find the truth? I'll give my eye for yours, babe. I'll give my tooth for your tooth. So now more shine on forever. There more shine on forever. Baby, don't you let go.
Short and sweet.
Cool. So, John, thank you for sharing your music and your art and your stories with us today. And as we wrap it up here, is there any kind of last story or sentiment or message that you want to send out to our viewers who are watching now or later?
Well, first, I want to thank you for putting these shows together and interviewing people on the scene. I mean, this is a great platform for, and I've actually just from sitting here talking to you, I'm looking at this stuff going, oh, wow, I've actually done quite a bit. This is kind of cool. So I think what you're doing is helping people, realize their accomplishments and it gives them a platform to speak about it. And I think it's good for the music community while we can't go out and perform and play. I mean, this is a chance for people to learn about their favorite local musicians. So number one, thank you for doing this and putting this together. This is very cool.
Thank you, John.
And any final words? I would say, regardless of circumstance, I think as musicians, as artists, as writers, and I will reiterate it, regardless of circumstance, we will always create and we will always find a way to create, to write, to perform, to record. So I would just say don't let anything stop you. If you want to make a music video, go make a music video. If you want to learn how to man a camera, do some research. If you want to write a song, write a song. Don't let anything get in the way of. And I think the reason I'm saying this is because as soon as everything shut down, I lost the opportunity to go perform like many of my musician friends, but I didn't see it as a detriment to my creativity. It was just one aspect of my creativity I couldn't fall through with anymore. People still have the ability to be creative, and I think we should nurture that as much as possible. So regardless of what's going on, find a way. You did it. You put this show together. We did it with our Sunday show, and we're still recording and writing. So, life as an artist is not over. It's just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Well, thank you for sharing those thoughts with us, John. And I do agree that as big of a detour that this is, it's a huge one. COVID is just, obviously unprecedented. But if we're clear about where we're trying to head, we can move around it. We can take alternate routes. We can, right, just keep your eye on the direction that you want to travel in, and continue to travel in the same direction, even though a very different route than we had planned. We're heading the right direction, right?
Absolutely. Right. And it's like a lot of things. We all might take a different way to get there, but we all eventually, I think, want to end up in the same place. And that's something important. I think people should remember that, if we all want the same thing, but we have different ways of getting there, just remember we all want the same thing, right?
Yeah. And if I can just add to that, while we're taking our detour, try to enjoy the journey. So I'm driving down Highway 2, and there's just a complete, blockage of Highway 2. I'm unplanned. I can go a different way. The key is to also enjoy that alternate route, which is a different route than we planned, but you can enjoy it if you choose to enjoy it, right? So
and you never know what'll come out of it. You might in that case, you might find a new restaurant or a field or a park. In music, and what happened, we found new ways of having conversations. We found new ways of being creative, right? So I mean, you're right. You might have to take a different road, but that road is going to teach you something, and you're going to learn from it. So I think we all have to embrace that.
You bet. So wonderful. Well, on that note, thank you again, my friend, John Hewitt, Mr. John Hewitt from the Edmonton area, and I am Dune Wynn from the Sherwood Park area here. To our viewers, thank you so much for spending time with us now and later on in the replay, and take good care of yourself and take good care of one another, and have a great rest of your day, folks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dune.
Thank you, John.